Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. Featuring today a 1 versus 1 on Langres. Yes, indeed, Langres, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. We shall be watching Conuko fighting for the Americans, fighting for the 10th Infantry Division. Going up against them shall be Nubion. Nubion fighting for the 2nd SS Panzer Division Das Reich. Standard start from Nubion. From Conuko, on the other hand, we are going to be seeing the 4 engineers start. Very aggressive play. Four. Alright, I was just going to wonder what the bloody hell was up with him. 4 engineers start. So obviously he's intent on securing as much territory initially, possibly even focus on munitions, who knows? Although there should of course be munitions so he can equip as many engineers as possible with flamethrowers. Wehrmacht quarters up. No, we're actually seeing a 3 pioneer start. I was mistaken. So both players actually going rather high on engineers or pioneers. No combat troops right away. Interesting. This is already sort of leading up to certainly being a slightly different matchup than most others. So of course, I have to see how this one works out. Barracks going up for Conuko. Again, no, not at the edge, but sort of right there on the path. Again, this sort of possibility again that you want to reinforce your troops sort of on the way. Again, you can sort of keep at it. And the first unit out is an MG42 for Nubion. Not again the sort of recommended sort of strategy for novices, but Nubion is on the higher end of the scale, marching out with his MG42 crew. Pioneers are slightly forward, so it might be work. Conuko though continues to secure territory, spreading out nicely. MG42 making a dash for the house. Will it be empty? Will it be full of Americans, booby traps, or French beer? No, it is ready to be secured. MG42 sets up within the structure, gaining a nice dominating presence, and Conuko swiftly changes, and we are seeing a motorcycle rushing up there, engaging the pioneer engineers. No, never mind, pulls back, then turns around again, opens up with this MG42 on the engineers, forcing them slightly back. Pioneers pushing ahead, and noticing that this has not been connected at all. Interesting. Engineers moving up there, and we are seeing the first infantry squad out for Conuko. MG42 quickly shifting away, forcing the engineers on the right-hand side off. Engineers taking up position within the house, probably to deny to the crouch, possibly also for reconnaissance purposes, so they will be slightly more aware of any flanking attempts. Who knows? Victory point in the center secured by the Wehrmacht pioneers. And the pioneers are coming under severe fire from American riflemen. Engineers moving in with their grease guns. An attempt at creating a much cheaper and lighter submachine gun than the Thompson, which, while effective again, was more expensive to make, took longer time to make, and was considerably heavier, meaning it was a somewhat impractical submachine gun. The grease gun sort of tried to fix that, but was never really populated, had its own faults. Partly, I think some of the mechanics were exposed, so you couldn't, in essence, get your fingers caught.
Fuel point is being seized.
It was basically an attempt at sort of creating the German MP14, and again a lot of nations tried to sort of recreate it in their own different ways. Right, I'm going out to engage. MG42 in the barn, looks like another MG42 up for Nubion. Bike and Pioneers fighting here against the engineers, quickly forcing them away. The engineers still there. Unit went down, the Pioneers were killed in a brutal engagement. And we are seeing one prong of Conuko's assault pushed away there, and the second MG42 covering the center, managed to force away another rifleman's squad, and we are seeing a third MG42. Clearly an entire heavy platoon is being leveled at this, with all of its MG42s. Possibly even a heavy company, who knows. But definitely again the sort of rarest stuff. But no, the Nubion is not sort of the one who plays about with just taking them the houses, which might be a more novice trick. He's actually moving them about, constantly replacing them, sort of being very careful about not splitting them up too far, but at the same time he is very much at the risk of having one MG42 at one or the other stage overrun and handed over to the Americans. At the same time, Nubion is playing a very hazardous and dangerous game, very high stakes. But on the other hand, if he can pull it off, it could pay off. But there we go, MG42 might in fact get overwhelmed. We are seeing Browning automatics pop up for Conuko, and there we go, MG42 pulling away, Bike charging up, the other MG42 quickly shifting away, but not on a full retreat, might set up for a slight ambush position to buy itself more time for the full retreat. Setting up behind, well, by some pine trees, and there we go, wrapping. Oh, another Pioneer squad did go down for Nubion. How many Pioneers does he have? And there we go. Oh wait, he has 3, that's right. Just thought there was some more than that. But Rifleman on the retreat. Engineers sneaking up down south. Out here, MG42 over here getting ambushed. 1 man down, 2 men down. And there we go. The entire MG42 team was brutally executed by Conuko's riflemen, lined up against the fence and pretty much shot in the neck. So there we go, heavy machine gun in the hands of the Germans. Now that is definitely going to prove nasty to Nubion if he's not careful. Another MG42 looks like to be out for him, in fact. Fascinating. Oh, stopping up right next to the house. At least he did not set up. That could prove very nasty. BARs open up there from inside. The Browning automatic, partly battle rifle, which was basically a bolt action rifle in a slightly more fully automatic fashion, and a light machine gun. Though they're now being mostly used as a light machine gun, although in Company Hughes it does seem to focus more on the battle rifle concept. Which again is basically an assault rifle that fires bigger bullets. Generally though they were never that effective, and in fact the Soviet attempt at doing it pretty much had to be stopped because it ruined the rifle. Conuko though holding most of the victory points, MG42 sneaking up. Engineers look like to be trying to flank it. Nubion tries to fight, but of course the engineers will be running straight past it. Rather than the Browning automatic is going to hit up the flank, and there we go. Looks like Nubion might hit it, and there we go. Full assault does result in the full retreat. Sniper out now for Nubion. He's going for a very heavy tier 1, but at the same time he knows that Conuko has gone for Browning automatic rifles, which mean that in theory he could try and salvage this with a Sturm Armory rush and get himself some armored cars, which Conuko could be very much left open up for. On the other hand, of course, Conuko's higher map dominance could be used to counter that if he plays his cards right. MG42 sitting up, and there we go, opening up on the rifleman, fanning away round after round of high velocity ammunition right there down the gullets of the Yankees. And at the same time, another force flanks up on the MG42 crew. And there we go, Heinz bursts into flame, sending the remaining 2 gunners off. MG42 up here. Thing is that actually an MG42 crew was not supposed to be that small. I believe it was actually more about 4 to 5 men. One of them would have been a squad leader, and the others would basically just been there to sort of feed the gun and carry ammunition. Engineers here getting pinned down. In fact, Rifleman continuing up on the flank. Sniper for Nubion might try and move in and catch the American Rifleman as they do try to pull it off. And another MG42 for Nubion. The 2nd SS's heavy platoon so far running into a bit of problems despite best and heroic efforts. MG42 crew down to going down, but the MG bunker in the base quickly suppresses the Rifleman. And the other MG42 sets up. Will Conuko? No, he does not. He retreats. The volume of fire being leveled at him was simply too great. Airborne doctrine for Conuko. No mines, really. Weapon support center. Oh dear, this is definitely going to set him up for a nice armored car from Nubion. If he goes for a Sturm Armory now, I mean, and it is very likely because we're not seeing a Kriegbags, I mean, Nubion is going to be in trouble. I mean, Conuko is, because he's not going to do anything to stop it. And in a map like Langres, where there's very much open terrain and there's not much really sort of pen in an armored car, I mean, an armored car can really pull off some devastating maneuvers against an infantry force, and it would not be like, say, Semois, where you could at least hold up in the village and, you know, be somewhat safe. So those are definitely some strategic considerations. You have to be careful, and this is definitely not looking too well for Conuko if again. And there we go, Sturm Armory is up. Bike though getting a bit awfully close to the rifle, and the Browning automatic Pioneers popping into the house with a flamethrower. Rifle and engineers advancing, getting stopped by a second MG42, which is under fire from the another MG42 again. but it gets sniped in return by Nubion sniper. And there we go, the German MG42 is actually pinned down, but incoming heroes, if a crew like this gets pinned or suppressed, it actually doesn't matter. They'll still keep firing. Although, I mean, it would be interesting if they were actually then applied at least some penalties to such a crew. Although it rather looks like he doesn't want to be firing, like, can I go? I don't want to be firing. Looks actually quite interesting. And there we go, Pioneer's getting pushed away. Rifleman continues to rake up the kills. American sniper close, but not close enough. And Nubion doesn't actually have really anything to cover it. But there we go. Another MG42 again sets up to provide covering fire. German sniper, though, needs to cloak. He needs to... Oh, no. American rifleman did fire off one lucky shot right between the eyes, possibly, and ending his life. So that is definitely a blow to Nubion. But the Sturm Army might provide the cure to his problems. But until then, Nubion is very much contained nicely by Conuko's infantry strategy again. I mean, get enough infantry out in other units. I mean, MG42s will have problems. And we're rather seeing, you know, the problems for Nubion strategy. I mean, he's rather getting beaten up. He's getting outmaneuvered constantly. I mean, he's doing alright. He's doing some damage, but obviously he can't hold very much territory. But there we go. Schwerpanzer Spielwagen is out. Might provide him with the means to successfully push out. We are seeing the supply up, but Conuko will be in some problems. In fact, let's go look at Nubion, who's gone blitzkrieg and might even call in some stormtroopers. Die Stoßtruppen. Armor car pushing forwards, getting very close to the riflemen, and there again, no sticky bombs at all, and not even an attempt to sort of fake out Nubion with some decoy sticky bombs. That is socks with bars of soap in them. Stormtroopers out, and we're actually seeing Sturmgewehrs going out for them. Riflemen here getting assaulted. Bike and armored car combination. All 3 victory points in the hands of Conuko and the 10th Infantry. Riflemen coming under fire from another MG42 on the retreat. Mines going down for the Pioneers, and the Riflemen just on the run. Oh, Pioneers were not able to finish. Close shave right there. Stormtroopers marching out. Soon more heavily equipped, and there we go, Sturmgewehr is up. Straight into an MG42, which catches all of them right in the middle of the field. And immediately sets about tearing them a new one. Oh, bundle grenade goes off on the MG42 crew, killing 2 of the gunners, forcing the last one to very quickly make a retreat forward. But we do see a rifle squad pulling up on the flank of the Stormtrooper squad. And the Stormtroopers will be forced away as they just used their bundle grenade, their geballte Ladung. A World War I stormtrooper tactic. Nubion doing what he can, but at the moment he is very limited in sort of offensive capability, again due to the fact he's only got 1 squad of stormtroopers, and that is basically 1 squad of infantry. Kampfkraft Center going up. And Conuko has quite the sizable force, but he is also lacking in something that can actually deal with a bloody armored car. So in that sense, Nubion can keep Conuko at bay for the moment, cause him quite some consternation and emotional damage, possibly even. Although that is less likely. Several of Conuko's troops might need medic packs. And this MG42 could perhaps be pulled up to support the advantage of this Pioneer, or to support the MG there. Mines going down there to protect, that is good. Looks like Conuko will be sending a force there and a force there, but quickly coming under fire right there. In fact, one of the MG gunners inside the house quickly takes a bullet to the head, and quickly Fritz moves in to take over the gun. Advancing up the flank there. Nubion now with the great advantage pushes onwards. And getting the Stormtroopers a puncher strike as well. Rifleman squad quickly stop. Oh, there we go. Tank destroyer marching out for Conuko. Well, driving out from some independent tank destroyer battalion. There we go. First shot though misses, hits the ground right in front of the armor car. Armor car pushes in front of Rifleman. Sadly, still no sticky bombs. Otherwise, that would have been very much the end of Nubion's armoured car. Panzer Grenadiers, though, quickly move up, fires a Panzerek rocket, but also that misses, and a full flame for assault pretty much results in a full retreat, and the MG inside the building gets blown out by a round from the tank destroyer, destroying more than just tanks, but also crewmen from an MG inside buildings.
Territory.
Sniper gets off a nice shot, and we are seeing a Sturmgeschütz out for Nubion. Well, the back does its can to sort of contain things there. And the MG42 covering the far west fuel point. Nubion has no intention of losing that. We're quickly seeing an advance from the tank destroyer. Should be careful. Could hit a mine. Could hit a mine. Sturmgeschütz rolling out. No veterancy on the way for that, but we are seeing another Sturmgeschütz from Nubion. And there we go. The mine actually went off. The mine did go off, and there we go. The Stuk is pushing forward. Opening up on the Hellcat. Stormtroopers moving out, and Sniper covered by Rifleman doing damage. Oh, the MG4 bike combination got all of the engineers repairing the Hellcat. Armor car pulls up. Hellcat goes down. And now we do see Conuko's infantry charging across open ground under fire from the Stuk and the armoured car. There's not much else there to really support him. If now the Riflemen do have sticky bombs, and which could in fact be very well the case, as he's actually now charging in after the assault gun with his Riflemen. And as we've seen, Conuko is not the person to sort of, try and fake out his opponent. Stuk, oh dear, could get a sticky bomb over the hedgerows, and there we go, lands on the side rear of the Stuk, destroys the engine, but the Stuk is surprising enough still in action. Still in action for the moment. Veterans 1 on the way for Nubion's Sturmgeschütz. Nothing for his infantry or support units or vehicles. A bit of a shame there. And there we go, bunker up for Nubion, most likely going to be a repair bunker to sort of help with vehicle maintenance and repairs. Armored car repaired again, Stuk moving up, Stormtroopers might want to provide support. MG42 fires away bravely at the armored car's front, but does not really do anything. Instead, immediately takes a peppering of auto cannon shots, forcing, but the armored car is itself forced away as the Riflemen move a bit too close for comfort. And looks like the MG42 on the flank was actually moved away, allowing Conuko to go for the fuel point on the right flank. In fact, that could very much deny Nubion of a lot of fuel. But seems like Conuko is not moving. What a shame. And there you go, the repair bunker is up. All a bit quiet in Nubion space, but there we go, and we are seeing a Titan gun up. That's I don't think that's a good move by Conuko. I mean, he's gone airborne, but he built a motor pool simply for the fact to get an anti-tank gun. I mean, that quite frankly seems a bit wasteful. And a bit missing the full point of, the doctrine you went, which does have the ability of popping in some anti-tank guns from above. So I can't say I'm a huge fan of what Conuko did right there. And we do see Nubion actually sneak up, storms from the flank. Oh dear, that could actually end up very, very ugly for the anti-tank gun one. No battle grenades, and then just a few assault rifle shots right into the flank. And they have to hurry up because the Stuk is currently taking quite a shooting. There we go, bike charges in. Actually gets in the way of the Stormtroopers. Get out of the way, you Sunday driver. Or Sonntag driver, I suppose. Does force when there we go, trying to ambush the sniper. In fact, the bike dies. And the Stormtroopers fail to get the snipers. That was pretty much just a huge waste. And also failed to get the anti-tank gun, which would probably have been a much more achievable target. So that one definitely did not work out for Nubion. We do see Veterans 2 giving the Sturmgeschütz a small health bonus and an MG mount. That's definitely going to help Nubion a bit against the infantry. Another tank destroyer rolls out for Conuko, and there we go, Riflemen continuing further up the west, which is very exposed again. Not a lot of infantry that Nubion can call in to sort of contain madness. Well, there we go. Swift armoured car response pioneers and an MG42 rushing in. And at the same time, though, we do see Conuko making a push for the centre. In fact, looks like one assault gun has been left on its own. Struger gets off a nice hit at the building, occupied by riflemen, killing one of the poor sots. There we go, quickly getting out of the building while it still stands. And a Nebulov on the way. Oh, very close there, very close there. Tried to lay down some mines, and the pioneers went down. Well, that definitely did not work out for Nubion. We've got a ton of pioneers. You might want to consider spending some manpower on some infantry instead of all that, instead of all those pioneers, which will quickly go down. And Stu coming under fire from anti-tank, not really the best movement for Nubion, but the Hellcat, no, the Hellcat's not rushing in. That was a bit of a missed opportunity right there by Conuko. We're seeing another anti-tank gun rolling out. Grenades now on the way for Conuko's infantry. Mine down there looks like, yes indeed, was finished. It looks like Conuko might have been aware, but oh, still hits it because someone was a klutz. Bit of work over here. We could see a sticky bomb, and we could see an tank to start moving up. Come on, sticky bomb. Sticky bomb, you not got the munitions. There we go, there we go. BAR actually left behind by some poor bastard. Stug though moves up. Damaged engine on the Schwerpanzer's B-Wagen. Stormtroopers moving straight into the MG42, getting quickly suppressed and sniped. Definitely did not work out for Nubion there.
Grenades have arrived.
And the Nebulov is ready. Though, fun fact, the first Nebulov was not actually a rocket launcher, that was actually a mortar launcher. It's a mortar of a larger caliber, we're talking 10.5 centimeters. That sort of mortar. And was back in the time when they're actually supposed to partly be, well, smoke launchers, but also be used for, say, chemical weaponry, while that was still under consideration by the Germans. Though that was later on cancelled. But still a fun little fact. And there were several variants of Nebula for this. Is the smaller one. There was one that actually, I believe, launched rockets twice the size of this, 30 centimeters. Very heavy stuff. Recon run going in from Nubion. I mean, with all the munitions it does have, you might just want to save it all for bombing runs and yet bomb the... It looks like another pioneer squad could go down and does go down. Mine engagement over here. Stormtroopers once more thwarted in their attempts. This time even anti-tank can get some. Those Stormtroopers again need numbers. There need to be more than one squad. Nubion though holding up the right hand side nicely now with several MGs covering this very, well, reasonably small space. And anti-tank guns being prepared to be popped in from above. Though technically it would have been by glider rather than, say, you know, being dropped in with a parachute. At least from what I know. Even artillery was actually delivered by glider, if I'm not mistaken, although there were quite smaller ones. Usually more based on mountain guns, in fact.
Weapon crew reporting casualties.
And looks like the anti-tank gun got decrewed by a nice Nebulov of barrage. The incendiary rockets turning the crew into crisps. And the second anti-tank getting sniped now by Nubion, getting another sniper out. Will Conuko, and Conuko is far away removed, and Conuko. I mean, I think he was working on the previous patch, in which case, I mean, one strafing run could be used to actually clear out a sniper, but not after the latest patch. I mean, you have to going to be ridiculously lucky for it to happen. So that was a bit of a waste of 150 munitions. Didn't really do much except, you know, scratch his back a bit and give him a shave. Hellcat though quickly shifting over, getting on the armored car, but the engineers and riflemen are getting absolutely shredded by the MG, although down to one MG gun, and there we go, the MG 42 goes down for Nubion, leaving him back with in fact only one MG42 at the same time. Storm's moving up, and there we go, ambushing the anti-tank gun, bundle grenade, sniper fire. They're quickly coming under fire from the MG42, and there we go, Stooks pushing forwards. Looks like when one assault gun could go down, sniper could also go down on the retreat, and he does. Stormtroopers getting absolutely murdered. 4 kills on the heavy MG42. Sticky bomb, and there we go. Stug is down, although the ant, yes, Hellcat is also lost. Stormtroopers pick up the Panzerschreck before getting the bloody hell out of there. Rückzug! At the same time, the Riflemen just getting pinned down by the MG42. So close, so lethal, so vicious. And currently, Conuko's front line is in a bit of a dire straight situation. The MG42 quickly gets out of there before it becomes a target for the Sturmgeschütz, and the Needlewerfer unleashes another barrage of incendiary goodness. Straight on the anti-tank guns, just in case someone had only been knocked out rather than killed, apparently. Stug trying to knock it out, all at the same time leaving itself very open to Hellcat pushing in and trying to flank it. There we go. Come on, and recruiting the anti-tank gun. Lovely, lovely. Get behind the Sturmgeschütz. That could prove very nasty for Les Nubion. It's actually time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation, Nubion is in a bit of trouble again. The lack of infantry is lacking, you know, some power in actually attacking. Lacking a bit more mobile anti-tank assets as well, rather leaving most of the pressure on the Stugs, which then of course take more of the fire. At the same time, he can't really hold much of the territory as well. We're in fact seeing another MG42 in the hands of the Americans. Nubion, in fact, is in a lot of trouble. He's getting attacked on several sides. He does have Blitzkrieg. He might be able to get a Tiger later on to save himself, but I do think he at least needs another Stormtrooper escort and a medic bunker. I mean, with all the pioneers he's lost anyway, so medic bunker might have paid off. Conuko, on the other hand, definitely got the upper hand, but he still has to be careful again. He knows his opponent's gone Blitzkrieg, which means, of course, he needs a more solid anti-tank presence. He needs to get that Stug, and, of course, he needs to kill whatever the Germans have left and push up further here. He needs to keep up pressure on all fronts. And he also needs some bombing runs. If he can get that, he might be largely secure. So let's return to the fight. And we even see Nubion rather swiftly recruiting an anti-tank into the Pioneer Squad, which could actually result in the loss. And there we go, Hellcat goes in, strafing run, pins down the Stormtroopers, getting them down to just one man, but still. There we go, though, Stug is down, but he lost 2 Hellcats in the process. That's not good economics for Conuko. That is, in fact, very expensive. Could, in fact, just allow Nubion to turn things around. And there we go, the Needlewerfer unleashes another howling dirge against the American lines.
Tactical air support is asking for smoke.
And there we go, a bombing run. Oh. Whoops. Stug quickly setting in, and that MG42 is definitely not going to cut it. As the Stug moves closer, but looks like the MG42 does escape. And we see another recon run. I'm not entirely sure why he gets so many recon runs. He seems to be doing nothing with them. Stormtroopers moving out again, and we do see the Tiger out for Nubion. Tiger. And the Stormtroopers a bit on their own. There we go. Sniper shot, quickly dropping one and quickly forcing a full retreat. But the Tiger is on the move, and currently Nubion does not exactly, Conuko does not exactly possess a lot to stop it. Although he could quickly get it by recruiting all those anti-tank guns, perhaps getting off a sticky one or two. And there we go, anti-tank guns plinking away at the thick frontal armor of the Tiger, and there we go. 88mm high explosive round quickly ends the lives of 2 American soldiers.
30 cal squad here.
Tiger quickly moves forwards now. Definitely going to need some Needlewerfer support to try and suppress the defensive belt laid down by all those anti-tank guns. And another recon run. I'm not entirely sure why he keeps insisting on those, but in this case he does spot the stormtroopers. That, in fact, might be why, you know, trying to keep an eye on the stormtroopers, ensuring he can get them before they get to his anti-tank guns, in which case sensible. It looks like one MD-42 taking up position in the house, while another one is nearby. In fact, behind all this, Hellcat moves up. Tiger staying a bit back in a reserve position. Still getting repaired, and there we go, the Needlewerfer is opening up. A second stormtrooper squad arriving for Nubion. Needlewerfer hits a bit, but does no do a lot of damage except to the ground and the fields. And the Americans will proceed to walk through the fire. God damn it, Larry. Another recon run, there go. Tiger immediately coming under fire. And a Pioneer gets sniped. That's a bit unfortunate for the Pioneer, that is. I'm sure Conuko is quite pleased. But so far having limited success. At the same time, the Stook here could get overwhelmed by riflemen lobbing off a lot of sticky bombs on it. Stormtroopers moving up to the Tiger. Tiger getting repaired. Titan gun moving up. And there we go. Oh, we're seeing a bombing run called in on the Tiger, and the stormtroopers are in the path of the bombing run. And the stormtroopers get wiped out. He didn't even know they were there, but just in the way. And the Tiger is heavily damaged. The Pioneers repairing it were also blown to bits, and now the Hellcat is on the move. The Tiger's rear is exposed, and the anti-tank gun clears it out, gaining veterancy too. A huge loss to Nubion and the 2nd SS Panzer Division. The SS Schwerpanzer Teiling Warrants lost, and the Stormtrooper, another Stormtrooper squad tearing through the engineers and the anti-tank guns, but they themselves are under heavy little fire. And another Needlewerfer Bowers stalks in on the anti-tank gun, burning the crew alive, removing their veterancy too. Stormtroopers doing their best, clearing out the anti-tank gun. The MG-42 gaining veterancy on the process. Rifleman going over towards the victory point, but they're coming under heavy fire from the Sturmgeschütz with his MG and main gun. Quickly taking losses as further and further machine gun fire tears through the poor bastards. And the Pioneers were quick to salvage the remnants of the Tiger tank from munitions. And a Sherman now on the way, interesting enough, for Conuko. But Nubion is once more boxed in by Conuko. On the other hand, Conuko is a bit more vulnerable to armored assets, like, let's say, a Tiger tank. And looks like we are seeing Nubion save up resources for the mighty Tiger. Die mächtige Tiger. Schweres Panzer. And there we go, the Shan rolls up, supply drops on the way. Might be saving up munitions for another bombing run to unleash upon the Krauts.
The storm is ready.
The storm is ready. And a bit of movement again. Storms advancing. Needlewerfer's running, coming from, but of course there's a Sherman now. The MD-42 actually taking several hits from the Needlewerfer, spurning up. So does the anti-tank gun. And another Tiger arrives for Nubion. Sherman advances, and Sherman is going to be in a bit of trouble soon. And there we go, Tiger arrives. Shots ring off the front of the Tiger. Anti-tank gun sets up, but it's going to... Oh! Panzerschreck completely blows it off, killing the crew. And the Hellcat gets down. Conuko wasn't able to get it out of there. Sniper owns up the Stormtroopers, but now Conuko's center is completely open. Left bare. And Conuko is in a lot of trouble as the Tiger breaks through. And there's only a Sherman to keep it all together, and that's not going to cut it. We do see another anti-tank gun popping in from above. A few plucky airborne infantrymen crewing it. But this could very much... We do see Blitzkrieg, increasing speed of fire, increasing movement. But there we go, damaged engine. Riflemen do continue, though they are under heavy fire from the Tiger. The Tiger unleashing round after round of high explosive ammunition, clearing out and murdering riflemen left and right. The Sherman pushes forward, catches a few pioneers, gets off a shot. Needler for opening up, in fact having advanced a bit. Fires away at the evil and naughty American dirt. It fails to actually inflict any harms on actual American infantrymen. It looks like Conuko was able to stand and hold back the tide. And there we go, another stormtrooper squad arrives for Nubion. Adding in more infantry. Engineers going for the victory point, coming under fire from the Stug. Stug under fire, and another recon run, spotting the stormtroopers out in the middle of everything. Quickly getting one snipe, Panzerschreck up as well. And the MG42 Veterans one opens up as well. Stormtroopers are quickly forced off the field. At the same time, Riflemen going to straight into a minefield. And there we go, pinned. Not looking good for those Riflemen. Hitting several mines, in fact, on the retreat. And the second Stormtrooper squad going to hit the flank. Could even pick up a Browning automatic in the process, although that would alert them if, you know, Conuko is paying attention. Where did that Browning automatic go? Must have been the wind. And there we go. Just unleashes himself from rather far away, quickly coming under intense fire from snipers, from MGs, and the Sherman. And immediately dropping the BAR, and he loses the entire Stormtrooper squad. Talk about rubbish luck. But again, he should not have exposed himself from that far away. I mean, they just became targets. So that was just a waste of manpower, ammunition, and Nubion is getting himself another sniper. While the Needler fires again. Suppressing and killing a few crewmen.
We are here to destroy them.
And looks like Nubion is ready to move forward again. Tiger at the front. And another anti-tanker dropping in. Stormtroopers moving out. Tiger though is quick to pull back. And clearly Nubion is intent on knocking out the anti-tank. One's question is, should he be taking that direct approach and perhaps not try and flank up on them? At the same time, we do see the Tiger actually, the Sherman actually moving up on the flank, although encountering a Sturmgeschütz. And another recon run, spotting a sniper, not the Stormtroopers though, and there we go. Access to the anti-tank gun, bundle grenade goes off, clearing out one crew. And there we go, the Panzers is on the move, going in for the other anti-tank gun, but quickly stopped by the MG42, the Rifleman, and Veterancy 2 for the MG42. Stormtrooper on the way. Tiger clears out the anti-tank gunners and begins opening on the Americans. They need to quickly get that gun manned again. Sherman pushed away. Engineers and Riflemen taking heavy losses. At the same time, a Rifleman squad standing out there doing nothing, needs to keep moving. While the Tiger tank continues its advance up the center, being supported by assault guns. And it could be very close to actually getting the manpower blitz. And there again, in fact, destroying the anti-tank guns, denying him from falling into Conuko's hands once more. There we go, going for the fuel point on the far west. On the far right, a recon run. Trying his best to keep an eye on the Germans, the Krauts, the Huns. And Pioneers getting sniped. Veterans are free on this sniper, by the way, allowing him to run while cloaked. Needler fire directed against Rifleman, going for the right fuel point. And another anti-tank gun drops in. Sherman advances. Another one gets recruited. Stu coming under fire. Might want to use armor piercing rounds at the same time. Pioneers fighting a rather desperate fight against riflemen. Only one BAR to really provide any heavier firepower. And they are not going to cut it. Get out of there, Pioneers. Rückzug! But there we go. Stormtroopers hitting up the flank. The Pioneers, having done their job and provide distraction, allows the Stormtroopers to move in and finish off the Yankees. Oh, the veteran T2 rifleman squad could go down. Oh, they managed it out of there. Tiger pulls back again, heavily damaged. Could Conuko have the munitions to deliver another bombing run and finish off the mighty Tiger?
Attention. The enemy advances.
And going for the victory point. Oh, he stops it just as the Sturmgeschütz advances. Gets off a nice hit, killing one of the Americans. The MG-42 continues to unleash death into them. Damaged engine, but the riflemen are suppressed. And pinned, ensuring the victory point is secure for Nubion and the 2nd SS. Stormtroopers securing the right victory point. The fuel point, not the victory point. Blah. But Conuko is definitely in quite a bit of trouble. Another mine goes off. And I think it rather came down to ultimately this engagement over here where he lost 2 tank destroyers in trying to get 1 Stug. That was definitely not a cost-effective battle and might have set him back sufficiently enough to really embolden Nubion. We do see Veterans of Fleet, which mostly benefits the Tiger tank since armored skirts don't do so much against anti-tank gunfire. On the other hand, Veterans of Fleet makes it harder for enemy weapons to actually penetrate the Tiger's armor. And another recon run. We do see the Tiger under fire. And the German sniper went down. Counter-sniped by the American sniper. He just continues killing. And the Tiger gets the anti-tank gun crew. Leaning behind only the Sherman. That's the other anti-tank and it's too far removed. And there we go. Needler for firing again. Stu moving up. The other one pulling back for repairs. And very close. There we go. Has the command point and the munitions for a manpower blitz. And there we go. He dusts the manpower blitz. And immediately sets about calling in stormtroopers and getting himself another Needlewerfer. He could also consider getting himself some veterancy for his infantry, actually. But there you go, pushing forwards. Anti-tank gun recruit once more. The other one, though, is not. But might be so any moment. And there we go. Second Needlewerfer ready. Stormtroopers advancing in force. A thick fire of anti-tank guns quickly pulls back the German armor. But Nubion is not to be deterred. He's going to flank the Sherman with Panzerschrecks. No, bun grenade first against the repairing engineers. Does Conuko notice? No! All of the engineers went down in one carefully timed explosive bundle of death. And a strafing on the other hand stops the stormtroopers. But the damage has been done. Conuko has been denied a lot of engineers, but an MG-42 actually opened up on the flank of the stormtroopers. Anti-tank gun crews, on the other hand, are vanishing under a cloud of fiery death. But he is going for the central victory point, and that could definitely turn things against Nubion, who does not have most of the victory points. Anti-tank gun here needs to be crewed as soon as possible, and the German armor is pushing forwards. Sturmgeschütz, Tiger not in full repair. The Sherman goes down. Anti-tank gun decrewed. This looks to be the final straw which broke Conuko's back. You do this right, you do this once. That's the ticket. And at this stage, I would say Nubion is not in the situation to actually resist. Oh, Conuko is not in the place to resist Nubion. Got him, Himmel. Keep making those silly little mistakes. And there we go. GG from both players. Game over. The 10th Infantry did their best, but ultimately a few mistakes, mainly with the tank destroyers resulting in more being lost than necessary, rather allowed Nubion this sort of, means to get back into the fight and, cause some damage to, Conuko. And I think, part of the problem for Nubion initially on was again the lack of infantry. It did with stormtroopers partly, but again it took him some time to really get back in the fight with them. But he certainly was able to hold on, and Nubion, again, Conuko held most of the map, but he was never really able, to cement it, to really take off. And again, I think the motor pool was a mistake, considering he went airborne. There would have been other mains. He probably should have gone for a few more skirmishes early on, upgunned ones. And he should have been more a bit active on the flanks, perhaps even pushing in a single tank destroyer through here earlier on. Sadly, that never happened. He could, of course, also considered a medic station, but again, never happened. Overall, interesting fight. Had some nice moments, definitely. Not the usual sort of setup you'd see in such a fight with Americans versus Wehrmacht. But hope you learned something from it. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why not subscribe, tell your friends, share it. If you didn't, well, why not send a free replay of your own or provide some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers, and feel free to follow me on Facebook or Twitter.